Welcome to the Stretch to Go podcast. My name is Ian Ray, your host. Today I have Jateshwar and Manat Mann, based out in Seattle, Washington. They are the co-founders of Feetsutra. Basically, it's these awesome barefoot penny loafers that we're going to be talking about. They're designed in Seattle and made in India. So Jateshwar and Manat, welcome to the Stretch to Go podcast.
Thank you, and
Thank
thank you
you.
very much for giving us the opportunity to be a part of this podcast. And we are really looking forward to the conversation.
Awesome. So let's kind of go over the name of Feetsutra. Is it how you pronounce it? And where did you come up with the name?
You want me to-
Sure.
Sure. It's called Feetsutra. Feet as in what like feet as in feet. Sutra is a Sanskrit word for a written law, loosely translating to written law. So what we are trying to say is that our shoes are the law for your feet, because this is what brings out the best out of your feet if you wear them. They support you only that much as your feet need to be supported. It's not that extra pampering or extra like too much, which gets your feet all messed up. So that's loosely we are trying to say that this is the law for your feet. That's why our tagline is the art of walking.
Okay.
And we chose it very thoughtfully because I think today a simple act as walking is that method has been lost to people. People are learning how to walk, and that's so mind-boggling to us. So that's why we said the art of walking. It's so simple, it's so easy, it comes naturally. We just have to let it be.
So when you guys were creating the brand and of course the barefoot shoes, what inspired you into getting into barefoot shoes?
So it all started with our own journey of being barefoot. I'll start with his. He started dabbling into barefoot in 2016, 2017 after array of foot injuries because of soccer and the kind of shoes we regularly wear. Once just by walking and wearing the regular shoes, he got the Liz Frank injury. Like between two toes, there's a neuron and it just split open and a neuroma formed there. So anything which squishes the toes is like irritate the nerves and it's like sharp shooting pain. And he was like, okay, and I think now is the time to look into something which is wide and like gives my toes. That was the first thing that why we started looking into it. And he was like, okay, let's see something which is wide and nothing else. And then he like pondered upon it, like how do I get wide shoes, where do I get wide shoes from? And then he stumbled upon Vivo Barefoots and he was like, okay, let's try them, they're wide enough. And he tried and it worked for him. There was no pain and nothing, and that is way before we met. And then we met in 2018 and got married, and I was like, I can't walk, my feet hurt, it's too bad, I can't walk for long hours. And he was like, maybe you should try barefoot shoe. And I bought my first pair of Vivo Barefoots. I was like, oh my God, my feet are cured. Like I did no exercises, nothing. I would just like to mention that it's not like I was working on it. I just switched my shoes and started like walking. And that was the only pair I wore for a whole year. Like after a year, they were like worn off. They couldn't be worn. And then we started looking into it and we were like, okay, we want the options we can wear every day. We just don't want the athleisure wear, not just like the sneakers, which was the major market at that point of time. And we went to India at that time also. We went to India and we were like, we went to a local cobbler and we talked to him. We were like, we want to make like broad shoes. And the first thing was like, isn't that little clownish? Like they're so wide. It's like, no, it's fine. Just make that for us. And he made one pair each and it worked. And we were like, okay, if we are facing the issue that we don't have a lot of leather shoes, which we can wear to work, parties, like every day to day, not just to the gym, there must be more people who have the same issues, who don't want to just be barefoot while they're working out or being just like active. They just want to be barefoot like whole day throughout the day. And then we started thinking into it, started working out on it. And in 2020, we registered our company. Since 2019 till 2020 November, we got bunch of samples made. So the barefoot shoes are made on like a different last over the which the shoes are. So they are not the regular lasts. So you get them made. So it was a whole process getting them made, finding the vendors. It took us like almost a year and a half to like do all that, finalize our designs. We went through like array of sampling, like, oh, this is not wide enough, this is too wide now, because we don't like, our motto was like, along with functionality, we still want fashion. We just don't want only the functionality. A fashion was a big question for us, because that's where people drop being barefoot when they want to be like dressed up and they're like, okay, now this doesn't go with my outfit. So we were like, okay, we want functionality as well as the fashion quotient should be right there with it. So that inspired us, and that's how Feetsutra came to be.
Notice with the quality of you guys is the shoes itself. I know there are parts of India, correct, that specifically have probably made shoes, fine quality shoes. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
okay.
in India, folks have been like hand making shoes for like decades and decades.
Yeah.
It's been how Indian folks have been wearing shoes. So usually what used to happen was earlier back in the day, like there used to be a cobbler for every village, and everybody just go to that cobbler and got their shoes made from them. And they all used to be bespoke because that was the only way to do it. They used to measure your foot, and then they used to make the shoes for you. And then, as being an agrarian country, most of the folks used to work in the field. So they were mostly barefoot most of the time because of the nature of the work. And then while the time they wore the shoes, those were all leather. They had leather soles. They were upper was leather. Everything was leather. So they were organic. And then they were made to their feet. They were not as broad enough because due to the Western influences, folks tend to connect like being formal to having those narrow pointed shoes. So that's why that also started reflecting in them. But as the rest of everything was very barefoot in them, so they were very close to what we are doing, but instead of being broad from the toe box.
So you guys been to India, you're working with the manufacturer, people who are actually doing this handmade. What goes into the process? You guys are the ones who've been doing this for years. I mean, because I want people to know, like, yeah, you have to look at the cost, but what goes into it that makes it so, I mean, obviously it's people probably see sticker shock, but
Definitely.
explain to us what makes such a great quality shoe for you guys, especially.
Sure. So I'll just pick one up and talk about it. So this is our like the Kusa. This is our flagship product. This is the Kusa which we make. I think I want to take everybody back to the start of it, to the delta of it, and that is the sizing and the last on which these shoes are made. So last is something like everybody must have seen that wooden or that plastic thing which goes in and around which the silhouette is structured. And there are two kind of lasts which are available in the market. So one is the US sizing and one other is the European sizing. And both US and European sizing are normal normal shoes, like what are being worn, the Nikes and everything else, the formals. They're all constructed upon that. When you come to barefoot, in order to make sure that it gives you enough toe box and it has a flat a zero drop and there is no heel, that's where we have to go back to the drawing board and start doing that sketching of those molds from zero. And that doesn't mean just making a mold for one size. It's making the mold for all the sizes. And for the shoes which have been worn by folks for a long period of time, the narrow ones, there is a table you follow. So you make one size, like you make a 10 US, and then there's a formula which you follow, and based upon that formula you get your 11 size measurement, the 12 size, the so on and so forth, and it also goes to the 9 size, to the 8 size, and so on and so forth. But as we are making the new mold, there is no formula there for us to follow, and we have to come up with our own formulas. We have to kind of do that, do those concepts and do those prototypings a lot of times, and that's where majority of the cost for a barefoot company goes. If you are planning to do it on scale and you want to have all the sizes available, that's where the majority of the cost goes, is to nail down that sizing. And I think, and it would sound like a broad brushstroke statement, but I'm pretty confident to say that all of the companies are facing this problem, because this is a very major problem, and that's where a lot of thought and process goes, because everybody's feet is different. So there you find discrepancies. That's why the sizing between barefoot companies sizing is also different. So our 10 is not a one-to-one relation to a Vivo Barefoot or a Zero shoes or any other shoes, for an example. That's that part. That's the base of it. Now, if we come to the construction and we want to make sure that what we are building, we just don't want to sell folks a product like, hey, this is good for your health, but this is going to go away and get ruined in like 2 months. That doesn't make any sense, because we are being a barefoot company, we also want to be a very co-conscious and company, so that what we are giving to folks is going to stay, is going to be with them for as long period of time as it can be. So that's why we chose leather. So it's all leather inside and outside. And the construction which we are doing is that's where it comes into play. So we are stitching everything together, and this is all handmade, because there is no machine. If you do it with, it's so delicate to build this. If you do it with machines, that's where you lose it. So you have to like hand cut it, the top and the bottom, and then you kind of, there are expert artisans who do the hand stitching and everything around it. So they build it in a way that it lasts, and being leather, so it keeps on, the patina can keeps on getting your, like it keeps on becoming you as you keep on wearing it. It takes on taking your shape. Like if you see this one, I've been wearing this for like at least 3 years. So you see all these crevices, creases coming on it. It's all looking great. And that being done is then where we use the world class pasting. So pasting is very important in here. And as we don't have much material to go with, we cannot go light on the material which we are using to paste these shoes together, like the insole to our outsole, because other folks have cork in them. They have a lot of layers in between, which gives a lot of opportunity for other companies to use kind of a below a quality material. But we cannot do it because we just have these two layers to get connected, and we want to make sure that they stay connected in all weather and in all way or form our customer is going to wear it. So that's where that comes into play. We work with a company in Germany who provides us with that, and that's where we're using that. Then I think where we are very kind of very proud of ourselves, what we have been able to do, and all thanks to our manufacturers, our artisans who were able to bear with us and kind of be able to work with us and provide us this welt. It looks very like, it looks like it's nothing, but this welt getting on a barefoot shoe is very, very, very difficult. And to make sure that it stays, not just getting it on there, it stays like in, while you're walking, while you're driving. I don't suggest people running in them, but even if they are running, it should stay, it should not come off. So, and it gives you that extra style. So it makes you look less broad, and that's the design aesthetic of it. And we have, as barefoot companies, have to wrap our heads around it, that we cannot just keep on pushing shoes on our customers saying these are good for you, but even if they don't look good on, if they don't look stylish, you should wear them. No, why should you wear them? The onus should be on us to provide them with shoes which are functional, whereas which are also stylish. I think that's why we have come up with this belt. It gives that formal look. It also protects you when you're driving. So like this is how we drive. So it protects the body of the shoe from getting all scratched up. And then the other thing which is very close to us, we have been working on a lot, is that this allows us the opportunity to resole. So all Feetsutra shoes are resolable. And as we just have 3 mm rubber sole, so which is just this part here, just this part right here, the bottom part. So that is just the sole. So before the upper gives away because of any reason, which is down the lane, there is high probability that the sole will give away in like 3 years, 2 years, 3 years. But we don't want our customers to throw the shoes at that point of time, because everything on the top, as per our testing, should be intact. So at that point of time, our customers send us the shoe back. We resole them. We send them those shoes back to our customer as good as new. And even if there are the top has some repairable damage, we also take care of that. So we try to make it as new as possible to them, but still keeping the character which they have given to the shoe. And that, I think, gives our shoes a long life. And also because the more you wear them, the more they become, the more they break, the more they become flexible. So the more they become you. So and we don't want our customers to lose that.
Sure.
That is as fast as I go to explain what problems we face. But I think so that's where majority of our focus goes, is to make sure that these shoes look really simple, but yet functional. So that's where our majority, the development and the manufacturing problems lie for us to mitigate.
It's funny you just jumped right into my next question, so I thank you for answering that. Is like I was gonna ask you like what makes your shoe unique, and that's awesome. You know, I love that you guys are so passionate. You know, and you guys obviously invest your time and knowing like fashion meets function is truly one. It is difficult to find because I've worn shoes that are either too narrow or too wide, but not fashionable. So obviously, you know, it's that great compromise and think you guys nailed it really well, especially with the leather. And please do tell me, I mean, these, you know, professional artisans are working with you guys. They are actual people in India who this is their living. You know, they're really into creating excellent quality materials, right? Yeah. So that's
Correct.
another great thing too. I think it's, you
Yeah.
know, you
So
guys are you're supporting people's jobs and giving them opportunities to, you know, feed for their families.
right. So like folks in India, like these folks have been creating shoes from generations. It's generational. And earlier, as market was not so globalized, there was not so impacts of neoliberalism or the impacts of our the big corporations had not impacted the customer's mind that much. So that's where folks were still going to them, getting shoes made and stuff like that was happening. The more of the world is becoming one global village, which is a great thing. But that has impact on these small artisans, where folks are now like, I'll definitely buy a Hoka or definitely buy a Nike, and no, like, no disrespect to them. Each and every has their own kind of a place, but that's where you lose them because the prices cannot match, and they definitely cannot build shoes with those materials, because that's where the machinery comes into play. And that's where these folks were starting to get out of business. Their next generation were not able to, but were seeing better opportunities otherwhere, so they were going out of it. So while finding our manufacturers, that was one of the, I think, a blessing which we got, was that manufacturer was already working with these artisans, so they were already doing something to kind of support them a little bit. And when we went them and we really like, it aligned with us and we started working with them very closely. Now we have a big bunch of like close to 100 to 150 people, which are working on our shoes, developing them by hand and everything, and we are supporting them as much as we can. But they, I think, bring the essence to them, so they are basically supporting us more. And the other thing, what we are trying to do is to make sure that we bring out their story and bring out the struggle which they have to go through, because it's not an easy task to create a shoe. It takes a single artisans around 5 to 7 days to build a pair to the level which we want it to be, and then it goes to the sole, the pressing, and everything. So it's a long journey which they have to take. And for us also to build them on a machine. If you use unorganic materials, it can be built in, like, so you have your pattern, you put everything in there, and the shoe kind of pops out, like the plastic ones. So that's where I think we are really glad that we were able to find them, and we were able to be a part of their journey of creating these shoes. And we are just doing kind of a small part at this point of time, but we want to keep on doing as much as we can moving forward. Now we are into manufacturing, so we have agreement with our manufacturer that a certain part of their, like, we a certain part of their factory just is for us, and whatever is being done, whatever the folks are working for us, is for us. So we have that kind of an arrangement. So we are not to 100% manufacturer, but we are kind of getting there. Eventually the goal is to have our own manufacturing, where we kind of have our own studio, which is 100% controlled and managed by us. And once we have that, we want to do more to support them. And also for our customers, we want to bring in the concept of totally 100% bespoke. So if somebody has some foot problems, because of that, their anatomy of their foot has changed, as has mine after the Liz Frank injury, because my foot just got more wider as it was earlier, because the ligament broke. So in order to support these, in order to provide these kind of folks also, so we will want to come up with a bespoke option also. But yeah, but that is that. So again, we are very fortunate that we were able to find such skilled artisans who we are able to work with, and the result is in front of all you guys.
There's one thing I would like to add to his point is consistency. If you get your shoes like the mass manufactured ones in the like one which are made with machines, of course they're consistent because you put in the command and that's gonna be how it's cut and everything. Our shoes are like hand cut, hand sewn, hand pasted. Everything is done by hand. So it is very difficult to have like consistency across all the designs and across the same design but different pairs. So we are so blessed to have such skilled artisans that they are able to get the level of consistency which a machine provides. And it is like a hats off to them how they are maintaining it, because of course they are handmade and handcrafted, so they are a little bit different. Like each pair has its own uniqueness, but they won't be like 1 and 100. They'll be like
Yeah.
10 and an 11 probably in difference. It won't be like one is one and other is like at the 100th level. So it is amazing how they do it. Like they maintain the consistency and like the finesse, because a shoe, in order for a shoe to look really nice and pleasant and really good, is to have a consistency and a finesse to it. So the stitching is very immaculate, it is very nice, and they're able to achieve it and consistently achieve it across all the styles, not just one pair. So that is amazing how they do it, and that's one point I think is like we missed it, because that was one of the biggest concern we had while going into it. Like being handcrafted, like major of the work is done by hand, will be able to get the consistency and the finesse we want in our shoes, because that's how we are promoting them, that they are fashionable still. Like being functionable, they are fashionable. So for being them fashionable, they have to be right there with everything perfectly nice, and they were able to achieve, and that's like hats off to them.
I was going to ask you, how did you guys grow your business from the time that you first started to currently to the way that it is now? Like, you guys are business owners, you're working across, different timelines, probably have a team there in Seattle, but how did you grow your business from the time that you started to now?
Yeah, no. So once we started in 19 on like the concept work and prototyping and everything, I think we both of us were the only ones working at that point of time, and still it's both of us who are totally 100% focused on it. We have contractors supporting us here and there from our photography, from that perspective, from our art and from design, but the 100% support comes from us, because we want to make sure that that the product is not getting compromised at all.
Yeah.
I think the biggest struggle for us was to get our heads wrapped around the social media and the changing environment and the landscape of social media. It is very important for a company or a brand to have a presence there. And that is something I think with which we are still learning,
Yeah.
which we are still struggling with, and that's just, I think, the nature of it, because the algorithm keeps on just kind of testing
Changing.
us. But we also want to be very conscious of how of and what we are giving to our customers, even on the social media. We just don't keep the holistic point and the sustainability just not to our shoes, because with the growing impact of social media across, with the kind of new problems which are surfacing because of overconsumption of media, the short form contact, how much it is kind of messing up everybody's brain. Everybody's kind of hooked to it. If somebody's saying they're lying, we all just spend so much time on reels. So we want to put out something which has some substance, and we are not just bombarding folks with our ads, with our reels or something, where we are just like kind of not even nudging, we are pushing them to make a purchase. And I feel that the onus also lies on the businesses to make sure that we are very thoughtful when we are putting something out there. So we try to be as much as of that as we can. We want to make sure that what we put is definitely elegant, gets more eyes, folks kind of lean towards it and make a purchase, but also they learn something from it. We try to provide barefoot knowledge as much as we can. So that's why the turning around of our content is a little slow as compared to others, and we are kind of facing the kind of the brunt of it. But we have agreed that that's fine. In the long term, we want to brand have a certain kind of a place where it doesn't stand with the crowd, but it stands a little different from that. I think the other major struggle for us has been the logistics. So with the how the world is changing, how everything is moving, how the circumstances are changing like every second. So understanding logistics and especially shipping plays a big role for small businesses is very, very tricky and very, very difficult. There are so many hidden prices, and we are not like shipping or logistics or supply chain experts. So it gets so we are very reliant on the folks which come in between, and there are so many folks who are in between the manufacturer until till the shoes reach out to us. So I think learning about that, staying up to it is very fatiguing, and yet we are not still able to wrap our heads around it. So that is those I think is a very big stays a very big struggle for us, because as the environment is changing, I think it's still going to be moving forward. But
Yeah.
as we want to keep our company lean, it's going to be us who will be doing that. But I think that comes with the nature of it. Yeah. So I think those have been major struggles for us, where we have had some friction in order when we are growing the company, and also understanding the customer, how to make sure we are providing the best service to our customers. We try to do our best in there, because I think it means a lot to us that the customer is putting their confidence in us, giving us the money, and we are bringing them the product. I think we take it very seriously, because first of all, nobody earns the money easy. It's very difficult to earn money, and if somebody is giving that to you, that's a huge vote of confidence in you. And then being a new company, being a young company, and being in an area like Barefoot shoes, where that whole field is new. So I think we are very thankful to our customers, but it is a learning curve to provide gracious and customer service, where we are doing as much as we can for them, to in order from, because it starts from sizing. Folks start experiencing the problem from sizing, and from sizing it goes down to the shipping part of it, and everything in between. And we deal with a lot of exchanges because of sizing, to get us around it, how to make sure that we are not losing money around it. I think there are, other than building a product, there are a lot of other ventures. It branches into a lot of very different things, which are a lot different from the product. But that's how the nature of the business.
Just like to add something here, which I just got remembered about it. So when we were making the shoes, we thought like the hardest part is like getting the design. It should be perfect. It should be the perfect bang for the buck. Like nobody should feel like, oh, we are spending so much, but we are not getting the product. And we made it, and we were like super proud of ourselves and very happy. And one day, me and him, after we launched and everything, and like a year down the lane, and me and him were sitting and discussing, and I just laughed, and he was like, what's up? I'm like, we thought the hardest part was to get the product done, but I think now it's not the product, it's the marketing, and to make people like tell them that why it is important. I'm like, I think that's now where we land at the hardest part. I think that was very easy to get the product out, and we started laughing. Like we were rolling and we're like, oh my God, the hard part is here. We thought the hard part is behind us with design done. And we were like so wrong about it. And it was just everything after that, like from shipping to marketing to logistics and everything was like, and we had no idea. We have never done business. We are not entrepreneurs. Nobody in our family has ever done business that we can get guidance from them. And we were just like looking around, what's happening? A thing get thrown at us. And then we were like, okay, so now we have to tackle this. And then we start reading and learning about it. And like, I'll just tell you a small incident. So when we first shipped, we opened pre-orders and we got love from the customers, like without even the product being there, like people started putting in orders. And then COVID hit and our shipping got stuck at ports for 3 months. And we promised our customers that the shoes will be delivered in December, because we launched our products for pre-order in November 2020. And the shipping was like so bad. It was so bad that we delivered our first products in February 2021. It was 3 months. It sat at the port, and we were like, do, how to go about it. And we were continuously mailing our like customers who have pre-ordered, like we didn't want them to lose like trust in us, that maybe what if they're fake, because we were just launching, we never had any product out there. And it was like, and we were learning along it. We never done shipping. We didn't know so many forms have to be filled out, and we missed one of the forms. We missed it, and then we were like, somebody reached out to us, a logistic company here, which was taking care, and they were like, okay, there's a form missing in your paperwork. And we were like, okay, we'll fill them out. And she was like, no, it has to be filled before your shipping is shipped, else you have like fine
It
of
should have been 4 days ago.
4 days ago. And we were like, oh my God, we didn't even know about that. And we called bunch of people, and we called back logistic people back in India who were sending from there, and they were like, oh, we did it, but we didn't send it to you. And I was like, oh, thank God, at least it was done. So then they sent it to us, and then we sent it to the logistic company here, and then it was sorted out. So it was always like one or the other thing coming, and we were like not at all prepared for it. And it was like, okay, then I think the making the shoe part was the easiest part, and whatever comes afterward is the difficult part, whether it is logistics or the marketing. And we're still struggling with both the things.
Still
Like
learning
it's still
every day.
yeah, we're still learning about it, and still everything, something new turns up, and we're like, okay, we didn't know about this, so let's wrap our heads around it, learn more about it. So it's just like a continuous learning process. It's not like, oh, you have done it once and then you know it, and next time you're pro about it. No, something else will turn up, and you'll be like, okay, that I didn't know about that, so let's learn about that. So it's just like continuously learning process. It's never like, okay, we have done it once and next time it's just copy and paste and just go about it. No, that's not how it is at all.
What are your guys' goals then from learning all these mistakes, all these things that you guys had to come through to today? What's your goals in the next 5 to 10 years? What are you guys hoping to create? A community, a product. What is your mission in the next 5 to 10 years?
So next 5 to 10 years, I think our goal for the company looking outward is that barefoot shoes become the normal shoes, become the shoes which everybody wears, most of us wear, and folks reclaim their bodies. Folks cure their foot pain and a lot of other things from that, which stem from having weak feet, weak calves, weak hamstrings, weak glutes. And I think just engaging your feet brings like helps in a lot of those issues. So I think one of main goals is to get this knowledge out there to as many people as we can, and kind of bring them into the fold of the natural movement as much as we can. Looking inwards, I think for us, the goal for the company looking inwards, and for the folks who we are working with, is definitely to keep on supporting the community which is building it for us, our artisans, the folks who are building who are creating these shoes for us. Try to see how we can support them better. Try to see if we can grow the number, because we are just like we are not doing anything compared to the numbers which we have folks who does this job in India. But try to see if we can do something locally, domestically in the country. Try to say that we are exploring a lot of different options in those areas. So try to support that community as much as we can, and externally try to get this message out to people that this is the right time. Come to start wearing barefoot shoes, and just see the difference which it makes to the problems which you feel could not have been resolved regarding your foot pain, back pain, and stuff like that. I think we keep it simple, but these are the two major goals for us for the next 5 to 10 years.
I know you probably kind of touched on a little bit what I was going to ask you this last question, but where do you see barefoot shoes evolving in the future? I know you're mentioning that people, this in the next 5 to 10 years, this will be a norm, but where do you guys personally, see barefoot shoes? Do you think there'll be more brands? Do you think there'll be more types of shoes? I mean, there's a definitely different sports. I mean, you name it, there aren't all the shoes for barefoot shoes, but where do you guys see barefoot shoes evolving?
So I think we want like barefoot shoes to be the regular shoes, how we now refer to everyday shoes. And we have to mention, oh, our shoes are barefoot shoes. So we want that in future we are at a point that if somebody refers to a shoe, it is automatically a barefoot shoe. They don't have to mention that the shoe I'm referring to is a barefoot shoe. It is kind of like it's there that if somebody's referring to a shoe is a barefoot shoe, and like people, and not just like in just two categories, you get the option of being barefoot in everything. Like there are so many companies now, like who are providing you barefoot shoes for like every and each different, what do we say,
Sports.
vocation and sports. Like there are
Yeah.
shoes, barefoot shoes for soccer, there are barefoot shoes for cycling, there are barefoot shoes people who want to do running, like they
Climbing.
like all those different hiking shoes are available. So that's
I
like
think-
one thing. Yeah.
I think so. As I'll give you my example. So I've played soccer till college. So I've been a soccer player. And soccer cleats are very narrow from like they're very narrow, and that's how I think the American football cleats are also like they're kind of narrow from the top. And the injury which came to my foot, and I've had many injuries. My foot, both of feet have been in casts like a number of times. But when I think about it, it kind of stems down from having that narrow base on which your body is then standing, and then you're running, and then you're stopping, and then you're turning, and then people are coming into you and kicking you and throwing you down. So you don't have a good base, and then you adhere so much of abuse and from the sport, and that kind of, I paid the price, and I think a lot of other folks do, but we blame the sport. So I'm just trying to get to the point there is that now we have barefoot cleats. There's a company which is making barefoot cleats, and I think that is a game changer, especially in how the athlete also performs, because you give them that tripod base. Your foot becomes a tripod, like way it should be. Your heel touches, both of the ball of your foot touches the ground, and you have a strong base, and then you run, and then you kick the ball. So I think that is amazing. And in sport like rock climbing, which is where you are literally hanging for your life from your toes and from your fingers, and then we make them wear those like pointed shoes. It doesn't make any sense. You should give your feet more room so that they grip more. So like you cannot climb like this. Why do we think that our feet can be like this and we'll be good climbers? And now there are companies which are doing that. No, I think it is changing. We are at that turning point. We are at that cusp where
Yeah.
where now folks have started to say that why not in this sport? Why not in this sport? And I think we keep on asking that why not, we are heading into the right direction. And to your question, I definitely see more companies coming in, and especially more entrepreneurs jumping into it, and that is just amazing for see, and to be a part of that community. I think is we are very grateful to that, and everybody in that community is very supportive. There's definitely healthy competition, but it is healthy. It is not like somebody is trying to one up you in any way or form, and one sees it very rarely in today's kind of consumerism led capitalistic mindset world, where people create the goal first, which is to make everybody barefoot, and then their personal gain, because everybody in here is for personal gain, but that takes a correct space in the chronology. So I think we are glad that we are part of it, but I see a great and a bright future for all the folks who are becoming a part of this community moving forward. And it's a win-win, I think, for everyone, for companies like us, and also for consumers who kind of then transition to being barefoot.
And that's a great way to end it. Thank you so much for your knowledge. I really truly do appreciate you guys hopping on through podcasts. There are great people who see the need for, like I said, the need for barefoot shoes, and there are people who have gone through, like I said, I've gone through injuries as well that kind of led me to think, why did I have this injury? What could I have prevented? And I think I never looked at the feet as a source, but similar stories where there's probably many people who are, who've gone through so many injuries and chronic pain that they're tired and tired of, having to go through whatever else, whether it's podiatrists or, surgeries. I mean, we're always looking to heal naturally and find the root cause. And this happens to be on our feet that we never look at. It's mind blowing because, yeah, I mean, it's the feet, and people are like always, don't want to talk about the feet, or have weird thing about fetishes on feet, but that is the foundation. I mean, that's what the first thing that touches the ground on the earth. And obviously carries the weight of your body. I mean, you should look at that. That's like the tires of the car. Like it takes you to places. So why not take care of that? So I really love this podcast. I love the conversation that we had, and I hope more people are looking into options for transitioning to Barefoot shoot, because it's helped my life, and it's helped your guys as well as yours. So I love for the audience to learn more about what you guys are doing there at Feetsutra. So how can they reach out to you or learn more about what you're doing, contact, interact? If you want to share with us your website, an email, of course, social media, and then any ways that they can interact with you. So go ahead.
Right. Yeah. So our website is www.feetsutra.com, and that's where they will find articles also, which we are trying to keep up with them and trying to put out. Definitely our products, more details about our products, and also the best way to reach out to us is via our email, and also reaching out to us on our Instagram handle. Our Instagram handle is again Feetsutra. Our email is info@feetsutra.com, and we try to be as responsive and quick to response as possible. But yeah, and we keep updating everything what is we're doing there. We also just wanted to call out that we got some great feedback from our folks that we need sneakers. So here is the prototype for our sneaker, which we have finalized, which we have been working, and I have been trying them for the last 4 or 5 days. I'll keep on doing it. But this is our new sneaker, which has still not been named yet. So we don't know what we are going to call it. But it's all leather. Again, everything leather and everything does to the Barefoot attributes. And there we are. And hopefully we're still looking at the second color. This color definitely will be out, but hopefully another color, but we don't know yet. So just wanted to give you a sneak peek and use this platform to call that out.
That is awesome. Thank you for sharing that sneak peek.
For sure. I just also wanted to thank you, Ian, for giving us the opportunity for being able to share our story. And it is the great work which you are doing, helping this community support and get the word out. All the best wishes to you in this endeavor. And hopefully we collaborate more and we keep on working together. Looking forward to it.
Yes. Thank you so much. Manat, Jatha, thank you so much for hopping onto the podcast. For those of you who are looking to learn more about my podcast, don't forget to subscribe, follow the Stretch to Go podcast. Release new episodes every Friday, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard. Yes, welcome. Thank you, everyone, and have a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good one.